Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Post to Post. Thanks for joining the video. Thanks for joining the channel here. My name is Neil if you're new. I guess if you're not new, my name is still Neil. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the 10 teams in the NHL that I'm excited to watch this upcoming season. I found myself a couple of seasons ago watching teams I don't typically like or watch on a regular basis, which is like Pittsburgh. I watch a lot of Pittsburgh for some reason. So I think I'm in the mindset now where I want to get back into the NHL this upcoming season. I was so emotionally uninvested last season because of the COVID stuff, and there's lineups were changing and everything. So I want to focus on this upcoming season pretty heavily, and I want to get excited about, or I am excited about watching some of these teams and some of the trades, some of the players and stuff. So I want to talk about these 10 teams. Now I will say, as I go through this is in no particular order other than alphabetical order as far as abbreviation. Arizona is first. They're the first team on my list, and they're not number one. They're just number one because of ARI, not number one because they're number one. Just want to put that out there. I know there's going to be comments. Okay, Arizona is a very odd team this year. The arena issues, the draft picks, can they bounce back in general? They can't seem to do anything as far as progression. Every season they're always on the outside. They've not been to the playoffs in a long time. They're just a team that they've been through the ringers. They can't seem to have any success. So just regardless of the upcoming season, the next season, the season before, whatever, I'm always curious to see what Arizona does. But this season just a little bit more because of the arena thing. I've talked about this in a previous video. I want to give Arizona some love. If I'm able to travel to any NHL arena this year, I want it to be in Arizona. I want to see the game in that smaller arena. So yeah, Arizona's one of those teams that I want to pay attention to this year and watch a little bit more, not only on TV, but hopefully in person for that one game. I'm really going to try hard to just go down for a weekend, maybe a long weekend, a 4-day weekend or something, just take a couple days off work, go all the way down to Arizona, fly down, see a game, and experience it. So Arizona had to be on my list kind of for that reason, I guess. So yeah, I'm excited to watch. Seems weird to say. I'm excited to watch the Arizona Coyotes and see what they do this year. Next up, the Buffalo Sabres. So here's the thing. I kind of classify Buffalo kind of in the Arizona category, where it's a team that hasn't seen success in a long time, or really maybe any success. And I feel so bad for the fans because I don't think they deserve it. They have some of the best fans in the NHL. Eichel's gone. The drama is hopefully squashed and stuff. I want to see Buffalo take a step forward. I've said this every year for the past 5 years, I feel like, since I started on YouTube. Buffalo is always going to be on this list until they do something. And I want Buffalo to do something. I want them to make the playoffs, even if they get sent out in the first round. Just make it to the playoffs. I think watching that fan base in that arena, it's going to be absolutely electric. I really want to see Buffalo make the playoffs. So I'm going to be paying attention, as usual, this season for the Buffalo Sabres. I want to see them make the playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes are on this list for me for two reasons. Number one, I would say maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago actually, I started to notice a shift in the Carolina Hurricanes, I guess, not really staff, but management, the decisions they were trying to make. We had a new owner come in. The team started to make some pretty good trades, some pretty good decisions roster-wise. Started to get better. Now they're a really, really good team, so they're exciting to watch just from that perspective. They're kind of got their life back into them. Rod Brind'Amour is an amazing person and coach, so great to see him there. But also in the other sense that just from a jersey perspective, from a brand perspective, Carolina's got a lot of stuff going on. They've got the Stadium Series. They've got the Reverse Retro. They've got the Anniversary Alternate. They've got a changing up of their home jersey. They still got the mismatched away jersey. So there's and who else knows what's coming for Carolina? So I think it's a really interesting year just from a visual perspective for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm excited to watch them as usual, and maybe more so this year. The Columbus Blue Jackets. So actually for this one, it really comes down to one player and how he's going to integrate into the team. Johnny Gaudreau, okay? I was so tired of the rumors, just constant, 4 or 5 year long rumors. Is Johnny Gaudreau going to be traded? Is he going to fit in long term with the Calgary Flames? Well, now we have an answer, okay? He's playing for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So not only am I interested in Columbus Blue Jackets in general because I want to see them do well, but now you've got that new superstar player with Gaudreau here. He wants to be here, and let's see what he can do. Can he elevate the Columbus Blue Jackets? So I want to see his integration, how it's going to go for the Blue Jackets. I'd love to see them make the playoffs and do some damage. So yeah, my main reason is focused around here of one player, Johnny Gaudreau, but I'm excited in general for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Calgary Flames. Having the Blue Jackets come before the Flames here in this video was a pretty good segue into the Flames because of Johnny Gaudreau. That's one of the reasons why I'm excited to watch Calgary this year. The lack of Johnny Gaudreau, how's that going to affect the team, but maybe more so Like, there's some new players on the team. Calgary's a drastically different team this year. Huberdeau's on the team. How is he going to integrate? I'm really excited to watch Calgary this year. I think it's going to be a very exciting time to see how the team really progresses. There's been a bunch of question marks around the team in the past couple of years. I think expectations were high, they weren't met. So there's maybe a little bit of disappointment with the fan base. And there was so many, like, oh my God, like there was that 1 week where like just so many bad things happened for Calgary as far as trades and roster and stuff. And Calgary Flames fans are just kind of like sinking in their seats a little bit. But then the following week, some crazy stuff happened and they got some new players. And suddenly Treliving was looking like a genius. And so it's been an interesting offseason for the Calgary Flames. So I'm really curious to see what they do for this upcoming season. And also, I would love to get out to see a game in Calgary. I'm hoping that that's maybe possible. It's going to depend on money, obviously, and I'd love to vlog that experience and visit that arena and see it before it goes bye-bye. But yeah, Calgary Flames are definitely one of those teams that I'm excited to watch this year. Detroit Red Wings. So I'll be honest, I don't think Detroit has ever been on one of these lists for me of the teams that I'm excited to watch, but this year is a little bit different. I have to think back to 2017 when I first started the channel, and it was the year that Detroit was maybe not possibly making the playoffs for the first time in like 25 or 26 years or something. It was the final fall of the Detroit Red Wings roster. We had some old school players leaving, and the team just, the team needed to fizzle out a little bit. They needed to kind of get their salary cap situated and their roster situated, and now they're starting to come back up a little bit. And I like to root for the underdog. So back in 2017, I was almost rooting against the Red Wings because they were such that long-standing team that was always in the playoffs. They always had to watch them. But now we've gone in a bit of a lull. We're coming down. Not much in the news in Detroit. They haven't done anything basically in the last 4 or 5 years. Now they're starting to come up a little bit. They've made some interesting trades. They've made some interesting draft picks. Their roster in general is pretty cool and pretty interesting. So I'm actually, maybe for the first time ever, really excited to watch the Detroit Red Wings. They've got a lot of players in their team that I really like. So I'm very curious to see what they do this season. I'm not expecting them to win the cup or maybe even make the playoffs, but I kind of expect them to be maybe a bubble team this year. Fingers crossed actually for the Detroit Red Wings. So I'm going to be paying absolute attention to the Detroit Red Wings. And I'm excited to watch them. The Edmonton Oilers. So I think I'm going to be paying a little bit more closer attention to the Edmonton Oilers this year because of one word: expectations. Last year, they took a massive step forward. Not only did they get a little bit deeper in the playoffs than maybe some people thought, but they defeated an arch rival as well. So Edmonton really kind of like set the bar pretty high last year, and which is great. I love to see that. Like I honestly was rooting for Calgary, but it's great to see that the Edmonton Oilers set that bar. We got to see more McDavid. I'm very curious to see what the Edmonton Oilers do this year. Are they going to take another step forward and get super deep in the playoffs? Are there going to be confliction? Is there going to be confliction? Is there going to be heartache and problems and issues? Are they going to take a step back? So I think just from that perspective, just to see kind of what direction they go, I don't think they're going to stay the same. They're either going to be better or they're going to be worse. I don't think they're going to stay the same. So I'm honestly very curious to see what the Edmonton Oilers do. I hope we get to see lots more McDavid in the playoffs this year. Just a treat to watch. And yeah, I mean, Edmonton has to be on this list for me. I think Edmonton maybe should be on everyone's list this year. There's a lot of expectations for the Edmonton Oilers this year. The New York Islanders. So to be completely honest, this one is a little bit frustrating for me. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what the Islanders do, but it's born out of frustration a little bit because last year I was very excited to see the Islanders. I really wanted to see them take a step forward. I think I predicted them to actually win the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the year, or maybe at least get to the finals from the East. And it did not work out that way at all. So I was left last year at the end of the season with tremendous disappointment and frustration. And not even as an Islanders fan, just objectively as a hockey fan, just kind of rooting for them to kind of get far. And it just didn't happen. So I think my excitement this year is maybe not so much excitement, but just like curiosity for the most part to see them, how they bounce back, if they bounce back, and how well they bounce back. Do they smash it this year? Did they actually go all the way and just kind of like last year was a bit of a lull? It was a bit of, I don't know, it wasn't truly indicative of their actual core, their team. It was just a one-off year. They really kind of, tallied up as that, I guess. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what the Islanders do this year, and I'm excited, but more so curious. I'll say excited, but it's definitely curious. The New York Rangers. We've got to go back to maybe the beginning of 2018 or 2019. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but there was that midway point in the season where the Rangers were just like, yeah, we're gonna rebuild. and it kind of took everyone off. It was like the January, February point, I think, of the year. It was definitely before the trade deadline. And a lot of people were just like, whoa. And I was like, whoa. But I liked it because I liked the boldness of them. I liked that the fact that they had that awareness to say, hey, we're not perfect. We're not close to perfect. We need to make changes, drastic changes. Let's go right now. Let's not wait. Let's do it. They did it. It's been a couple of years. Last year, I think we got to see like the first year of the new New York Rangers, and then this year we're coming up on maybe a better New York Rangers. So I love the progression of the Rangers. I love the decision dating back just a couple of years to make the change. They made the change properly. Now we got a new, completely, essentially New York Ranger team just a couple of years later. I love it. I love the decision, the bold decision to kind of do that and just go for it. And they're an exciting team to watch, just in general. The players, and obviously the coach, my favorite coach in the NHL. So yeah, I'm absolutely excited for the Rangers. They skyrocketed up my list of teams that I really like and enjoy watching because of that decision a couple of years ago, and they just kind of keep going up my list. I think they're in the top maybe 5 at this point. They're getting real close to the top 5. So yeah, the Rangers are absolutely a team that I'm very excited to watch this season. I hope they do so well, and I hope they go deep. Finally, the Ottawa Senators. There's actually a lot of reasons why the Senators are on this list for me. Number one, I think it's an arena I want to actually go visit this year if I can. It's definitely on my top 5 of teams or arenas I'd like to visit this year, if at all possible. Would love to see a game there. Number two, it's a team that's really changed in the last, you could say, I guess, 24 months, but really maybe in this last 8 months, I guess. Not only has the team roster changed a little bit, we've seen the draft, obviously, but we've seen almost like the team mantra, the decisions behind from above, because obviously Eugene Melnyk passed on us. We've seen a little bit more aggressive moves, I think, from a brand perspective, from an organizational perspective. So, and kind of in a good way, I think that the team is trending in a great spot, not only publicly, but as a team in general, as a roster. Very young team, lots of players to be excited about. So I think for the first time, I guess I could classify Ottawa as always being that team just kind of off to the side for me. I always know that they're there. They play in my favorite division, and my Canadians. They play against my Canadians a lot, so I'm always watching Ottawa. A team that I never truly paid too much attention to. They were kind of just there. Cheered for them heavily against that series against Pittsburgh back in 2017 or whenever it was. But now I like the underdog. I love the underdog aspect of any team. Seeing Ottawa kind of go through that transition, come back up with these new young players, this new and kind of revitalized lineup, I guess. How are they going to do this season? I enjoyed watching them last year. I'm even more excited for them this year. So absolutely, the Ottawa Senators are here on my list. I'm curious to see what they do for reverse retro as well. And like I said at the beginning, I'd like to go see a game there. So these are kind of the 10 teams that I'm most excited about watching this year. But if I didn't, don't be the person like, oh my God, he didn't mention my Flyers. I don't like this guy. Don't worry. I'm going to be watching all teams in the NHL. I'm excited to watch all teams, regardless of if they're in the top 10 or not. I'm excited to watch all teams. I'm going to be watching all teams. I'm going to be talking about all teams in the NHL in this upcoming year. So yeah, don't be too upset if you didn't see your team in this video. But if you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and let me know down below in the comment section. What teams are you excited to watch this year? Not your favorite team. Your favorite team has to be in there, but other teams. Are you excited to see other teams in the NHL? Would love to know your thoughts. Please consider hitting the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button if you like this video, and I'll talk to you in the future. Adios.